ラムだ。どこ?
Just having to say that felt like admitting defeat. And I didn't like it. Why is it that she's always so obnoxious and clingy when I don't need her? And then won't answer when I call her name. What are you lost? What the hell are you? Where am I? Annoyed by the completely predictable ending, I had left the cathedral. I had planned on finding some terrace with a cool night's breeze, where I could kill time until the end of that partial reception.
確かに人の顔を見たくなかったから人気のない方へばかり進んだけど、さすがにこれはいないにも程があるわ。
I, the great Ben Castel, am lost? A miracle like that certainly couldn't happen. Yeah, miracles don't exist in this world. To create a miracle, you need an amount of time that can never be reached. A period that is no different from infinity. So, when something that appears to be a miracle happens in a shorter span of time than that, it is not a miracle, but due to someone's design. Oh, so someone is doing this to you? Oh, maybe Lambda Delta is doing a prank on you or something. In other words, the reason I'm walking down this bizarre corridor is because someone's design has forced me here.
誰? こんな手の込んだ真似で私を呼ぶのは。よっぽどの恥ずかしがり屋みたいね。こんな人気のないところに呼び出すんだから。
Then, from the other end of the dark corridor, I heard a sound. It sounded as though some small animal, like a dog or a cat, was walking at a quick pace. Oh my goodness! It was Sakutaro who was doing this! He is the new mastermind! That is fucking with Ben Castillo, apparently. No miracle could cause a dog or a cat to be in a place like this. Maybe not a dog or a cat, but maybe a lion? Such a miracle would not be allowed. Since it isn't a miracle, that means I'm being guided in that direction. Alright then. This might be some new idea to keep me entertained. If this is some new joke of Lana Delta's, I'll cover her whole body with honey using my tongue as a reward. Once again, whatever it is that you guys are doing, just do it in your spare time. I don't know if I should be a part of that. And then I'll stick parasol chocolates into her eyes and tell her to never do it again. In the direction that the noise had come from, it was not only dim, but shrouded in complete darkness. However, I could sense something in the darkness. There were two emerald green glints, probably cat eyes. The eyes of a black cat that blended well into the darkness.
あなたが呼んだの? それともあなたが使い?
When I looked at my feet, I saw red cat footprints leading towards those cat eyes. It was unsettling, as though it had run through a puddle of blood on its way there. After my eyes adjusted to the darkness, even to the lack of light, I was vaguely able to make out the red footprints ahead of me. They weren't actually glowing or anything, but they served perfectly well as a signpost leading me onwards. As though it was telling me to follow, The cat turned around and dashed off into the darkness. What is it? Something feels very strange. It's a feeling I haven't felt since I began calling myself the cruelest witch in the world. I cannot quite remember what this feeling is. Still, for one as tired of boredom as me, it's surely more fun this way. I followed the bloody footprints of the cat, which would sometimes stop and look back at me, and walked on and on through the dark corridor. He headed forward, turned corners, and descended what appeared to be stairs from time to time. Okay, I do have some weird idea in mind. Like, I have no evidence for this, but something tells me that this isn't the first time that this is happening to Bercastel. I mean, we have a cat over here. We see their eyes. I wonder if this is something that happens to Bercastel, like in the past, and she just doesn't remember. And this isn't the first time that this sort of stuff is happening, and it is a regular occurrence. And then, though I couldn't really tell because of the darkness, it slipped through the crack of a door. Maybe I'm saying this because we're talking about a cat over here. If it was something else, then I wouldn't be thinking of this. I pushed the door open slowly, but it was dark on the inside, just like the corridor. However, the air and the slight change in the echoes made by the footsteps told me that this was a room, not a corridor. The sounds of the cat's footsteps were gone. However, the bloody footprints remained. On the other side of some sort of wooden screen, and what looked like a small spotlight, that same black cat was noisily gobbling down a bowl of pet food. I see. So, this is its reward for bringing me here.
猫、お食事中悪いけれど、そろそろあんたの主人を呼んでちょうだい。それともまさか、あんたが私を呼んだ本人ってわけじゃないわよね。
Talking to it didn't cause it to turn around. Well, I guess it is an animal eating its food. If I kick it away, it'll probably run off to its owner. When I did kick the cat, it sailed away like a stuffed animal, hit the wall, and fell to the ground. Okay, maybe you exaggerated there. You wanted it to go to its owner, right? You probably shouldn't have killed it. Then it vanished, as though it had melted into the darkness. What's with this cat? Is it just an illusion? Maybe it's a reflection on yourself, Berncastel. Like you hate yourself so much, you're kicking yourself to death. When I looked at its food, it was piled up with what appeared to be blood-drenched raw meat. It was as though someone had torn apart living flesh on the spot. Again, a reflection on yourself. That cat was probably munching on Lambda's meat or something, and piled it into there.
何なの？この趣味の悪い艦隊は。ケルトはひどいことをする。
Oh! The instant I heard that voice, the hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Then, the surrounding area finally brightened. However, Berncastel had already guessed where this was before it grew bright.
そなたであろうが、その猫は。
Oh, yeah, told ya. I was joking a little bit there, but nah, could well be.
肉を食らい、選ぶ道もあることを学んだ猫よ。久しぶりであるな。あんたが教えなきゃ気づかずに済んだ道よ。肉の味を教えた化け物。生き返ったのね。
I guess so. They do know each other, apparently. I mean, I guess I can see it. Lambda and Bercastel, they are Voyagers. Fedorin doesn't really have, like, that much of a connection to the story of Rokkenjima. I mean, she wrote it, but she wasn't part of it the same way Beatrice is and such, so I guess she can be considered a Voyager as well. Voyager comrades right over here.
フェザリーヌアウアウローラ。フェザリーヌアウアウローラ。ヌアウアウローラ。アウアウラアウアウラアウアウラ。アウグストゥス・アウローラであると、そなたには何度教えても覚えぬな。よい。それもまた懐かしい。噂は聞き及んでいるぞ。奇跡の魔女ベルンカステルを名乗り、あまり褒められぬかけら遊びをして回っているとな。あんたの真似をしてるだけよ。到底及びやしないけれど、もし私の噂がよからぬものならば、あんたはそれに100をかけるべきだわ。
Bencastel sat unreservedly in the attic chair, as though she was already familiar with the place. I guess so. If there is one connection that we can make with Fedorin, it would be to Bencastel Lambda's past. Alrighty then. I am pretty curious.
何を怯えているか。私はこれまでで最も長く過ごした巫女との再会を喜んでいるだけであろうが、使いの猫がそんなにも気に入らなかったか。
By all appearances, Bencastel's manner seemed relaxed. However, Fedorin admonished her, telling her not to be afraid. And, judging by the expression that rose to Baron's face, Fedorin had been right on the mark.
私に対する当てつけにも程があるわ。血の足跡を残しながら歩き、血まみれの肉を頬張る猫なんてね、露骨にも程があるのよ。怯えるな。よく見よ。血まみれの肉を頬張る猫などどこにいる？そなたを迎えに行った褒美にビスケットの皿を与えただけではないか。
And despite there being no wind, the bowl at our feet seemed to blow away as though it was made of soot. In its place lay a lovely and perfectly normal cat dish, with a pile of small biscuits on top of it. Bencastel didn't even hide her displeased grimace. Feathered shrugged and muttered, "You haven't changed, child of man," as she rocked her rocking chair.
相変わらず不愉快なやつだよ。でもね、今は愉快よ。あんたの真似をしてるとね、本当に退屈しないわ。なじれ、好きに。かつて別れに際し、そなたに許した置き土産だ。口の悪い巫女は退屈しないから好き。なんだっけ？ちっ、バカバカしい。あんたを喜ばせるくらいなら口をつぐむわ。 それで何の用？
Sheesh. Berenkastel is pissed when talking to Federer. A little bit more than I see her as usual.
ベアトリーチェのゲームがバトラの勝利によって終わったそうだな。感激していた。なかなか面白かった。
私が無様な役でそれは面白かったでしょうよ。
とんでもない。なかなか光栄であった。ベアともそなたに感謝しているだろ
う。それでベアとのゲームのかけらを朗読しろって言うならお断りよ。私はもうあんたの巫女じゃない。
私はベアとのゲームをすべて感激してきた。ラムダデルタのゲームもバトラのゲームも興味深く感激させてもらった。一応すべての謎に私なりの答えを用意できたつもりでいる。犯人、動機、個別のトリック、碑文の謎は最後がギリギリわからぬが、私が実際に六軒島に行き検証すればわかる程度のレベルまでの推理は持っている。
それで？
無論真実は一つでない以上、私の推理も許される可能性の中の一つに過ぎぬだろう。しかしそれは可能性の範囲内でありさまつな問題だ。
何よあんた、私とベアとのゲームの論争がしたいの？
違う。したいのは答え合わせだ、人の子よ。
Okay. Those words of veterans made Berenkastel straighten up. Her old master did not fail to notice that small reaction.
そなたも出演者として参照のように物語を盛り上げてきた。その過程で多くの真実も知るだろう。しかしベアトが巧みに隠してきたいくつかの謎についてはそなたも知らぬのではないか？
なるほど。私にまた腹渡を食いちぎって引きずり出す役をやらせたいのね。
感激を終えればパンフレットを読み舞台裏を知るのは、そなた風に言うなら食後にたしなむ紅茶のようなものだ。それはたしなみだが欠かすことはできぬ。
生きてるうちはめでて遊んで、死んだら肉を食らってご機嫌満腹。あんたにとって猫は二度役に立つわけだわ。死ね、化け物。
答え合わせがしたい。そなたも知りたいはずだ。ベアとの亡骸を葬ると思い、その葬儀をそなたに執り行ってほしいということだ。それならばどうか、人の子よ。
Uh-oh. I am not liking where this is going.
多少は私好みな頼み方になってきたわ。
When Federer snapped her fingers, a thin spotlight shone on a table cluttered with books. There lay a folded version of the game board for Bato's game. The witch of Firagoin spun her finger in a circle, and the game board opened up by itself, revealing the rows of black and white pieces that were packed away inside it.
ゲーム版もコマもすべて揃っている。過去のゲームの寄付もすべて揃っている。
With a rustling sound, the books flipped through all their pages of their own accord, shook themselves, and flew to the side of the game board, where they waited. Inside of them, all the movements of the pieces during previous games were recorded.
なるほど。足りないのはプレイヤーと解説者だけってわけ。
紅茶も足りぬな。梅干しも足りぬか。もちろん用意しよ
う。いいわ。それにからし大福もつけてくれたら手を打つわ。
交渉は成立だ。
条件が一つ。
ほう、それは何か。
朗読者は私よ。私、愛がないからいろいろとおかしな解釈をしてしまうかもしれない。でもどう読むか、どう抑揚をつけるかは朗読者の自由よ。
私は答え合わせがしたいだけだ。物語になど興味はない。そなたがどんな物語を紡ごうと全く興味がない。なるほど。ようやくそなたが何をしたいのか分かった。
飲むでしょ、条件。
いいだろう。私は答えが知りたい。そなたは鬱憤が晴らしたい。交渉は成立だ。
When Federin snapped her fingers once more, a large chair appeared, as though beckoning Bercastel to sit there. The chair, its design horribly mismatched with the furnishings of this room, was a throne. Whoa! Wait, seen this before. This is...
認めようぞ。座るがよい。ゲームマスターはそなただ。
Okay. New game master. But man, look at Beller in this portrait. He has the drip.
いいのね。本当にいいのね。
そなたの鬱憤が晴れるような好きな物語を紡げばいい。私には興味ないことだ。ただし、私からも条件を一つ。私の求める答え合わせをすべてせよ。隠し事も包み隠しもごまかしも一切なしだ。
任せなさい。腹渡引き裂いて中身をすべて引きずり出すのは私の最も得意とするところ。
Alright, well, might as well. Let the rain filled with body parts begin.
あんたの仕込みだもの。
紅茶を入れよう。魔法でなく私自らの手でな。主が巫女に茶を入れて信ぜようぞ。
かつてベアトは私に紅茶を飲むなら魔女とに限ると言ったわ。
我らにはどうやら違うようだな。紅茶を飲むなら
化け物同士に限るわ。 駒の準備を始めるわ。投資番号で言うと第7のゲーム。
そうなる。縁起のいい数字だ。
それはベアトにとってではないわね。初手配置 D8 ベアトリーチ。
Alright, well, we have brand new character profiles over here. Let's see what we can get out of this before we move on to our next endeavors. Because next time we're going to be having another game with Ben Costello as a new game master, it seems. So that will surely be something. But until then, let's see if we have like anything new around here that we can get new information out of. Corpse discovered in a guest room. Fudo Erika did not perform a sufficiently detailed investigation, so the details of the cause of death are unknown. Yeah, apparently when we execute them like first things first, we're gonna get this detail for each of the victims of the first Twilight. They did not perform sufficiently detailed investigation, the details are unknown. Same thing for everyone else. But if we were to do it again, a blade has been used to cut her head clean off. Wow, no kidding. They even let me see. They even cut the sprites off. Like right there. Wow. The most I'm saying wow to their deaths. What the fuck is wrong with me? But yeah. The most perfect kind of corpse, running a mistaken autopsy impossible, while also being completely identifiable. Oh, it definitely works. What can I say? With the victory of the human side, she should have achieved victory as well, but she seems unable to accept it. It appears that she is less concerned with who actually wins and cares more about how brutal an end might be reached. Therefore, hostile towards Battler as he tries to end this peacefully. She attempts to use Erika to ruin this final game. Because the end of the game has been assured with the victory of the human side, she no longer stands in a position to end it. As a previous game master, she also knows the truth, and has taken a position of non-interference. Now she simply acts as an spectator, enjoying her beloved Baron's contorted expressions. He is the ruler of the game board and the territory lord. To prove that he has all won Battle's game, he must take on the position of Game Master. By succeeding in this, his victory will be acknowledged, and Battle's game will reach its end. Because he knows the whole truth, he exists on a higher plane than all others. You know, the thing is, when I think about this wasn't like the outcome of this game wasn't necessarily so that Battler would show us that he understood Battle's game. It was more so that Beatrice herself had to understand her own past to understand the game and such a little bit. But, you know, I guess this goes back to that whole debate over what Battler knows. Whether this is all just a grand plan of Battler that he knew that this stuff would happen, and you know, I guess in similar fashion to Kenzo, he would intentionally put himself in danger, that he would put himself in this logic error so that he would bet on Battle to save him. That he would do a little bit of a risky move right over here so that things would happen like this. And, well, Battler succeeded. Like, if we were to go down that road with all-knowing Battler and such, well, it could be. But if we were to flip that and say that Battler still has a long road ahead, and such. Well, he's still learning, I guess. Now he knows about the logic errors and such, and now he will know to think twice next times when thinking about these logic errors. The thing is, there isn't really like any solution to that. I mean, it's really dependent. You really have to be careful. And then there's all these retroactive moves that Erika was doing, which, you know, I was commenting on this before that, I don't know, should there be like rules when it comes to retroactive moves and, well, not necessarily retroactive moves, but rather announcing your moves, like, as you do them. I still have to say that because Erika did not announce her moves. That was Balder's like fatal blow to him. Zepar, one of the 72 demons, presides over love and tests others through trials. Zepar grants the contractor undying immeasurable defensive power. This gives the contractor the courage not to dread any of love's wounds. A hunter of love who loves to prey upon passive men. It's a okay. This definitely feels like a description from a Goetia. This definitely feels like it. Like words such as passive man, granting immeasurable defensive power. Let me see. Grants the contractor endless, inexhaustible offensive power. Offensive and defensive. Similar to Shannon and Kanon, eh? This gives the contractor the courage not to fear any of love's barriers. Like, this is definitely something that I've been thinking of as well, that Zepar and Furfur are some sort of reflection on the Shannon and Kanon. I guess, does that mean that we're also gonna include Furfur and Zepar into the stash of personalities that are involved in one person? Beatrice, Shannon, Kanon, Sayo, Yoshiya, Zepar, Furfur? Nah. Maybe not to that extent, but I feel like they definitely reference Shannon and Kanon since, well, it was their idea to do this duo in the first place, to decide and such, so they would involve Zepar and Furfur for this, which would be their closest thing to a host for that kind of duo. A new witch reborn from the rules. She was not lived 1,000 years, and her behavior is vastly different from how it once was. She is a witch who does not even know how to use magic. However, she has no fear of magic nor circles or spiderwebs. It's almost as though she is just a human. She adores Balder and considers it her purpose to devote herself to him. Well, you know, before I was bringing up the topic of how, quote-unquote, you are born for someone else's sake, which, you know, I said that in a realistic sense, it is such a dangerous mentality in a relationship to have something like that. It really is something that you should definitely not have, but I guess, you know, in the context of, well, in the context of my own ideas from before about a personality being born, like, a personality being born, not the person itself being born. Like, a personality is being born, that we all know right now that Beatrice was born, like, in those 6 years after Balder left the family, like, 6 years ago. Like, the person who had her personalities gave birth to Beatrice because of Balder. In that context, those words, Beatrice being born for Balder's sake, well, yeah, it definitely makes a lot more sense, and it still is a dangerous mentality when it comes to the original person who gave birth to Beatrice, but for Beatrice herself, it makes 100% logical sense in that aspect. So, yeah. 410. Her hobby is teasing serious and uptight people, which is why she likes for... Okay, this is actually like a separate comment that I'm making right over here that I made, like, off-screen. Did you guys feel like her voice was a bit different? Like, 410's voice? I don't know, it felt a little bit different in this in comparison to others, but maybe that is just me. It felt a lot more squeakier. Or maybe not squeakier, but nazier. Like that of Bugs Bunny, really. I mean, she is doing it quite well. A message bottle for... Whoa! Hold on a second. Look at that dress. This is the first time I'm seeing her full dress. Wow. I think, if I remember. Message bottle forger. She's a mysterious novelist, and the mysteries surrounding her outnumber even those found in her novels. Claiming to have found the truth of Rokkenjima, she writes new tales and publishes them on the web as though giving out extra hints. However, I have no memory of meeting her before my trip to Nijima. The Elder. It's a mysterious witch who existed even before the rules. She was the same name as Battle, but she was not given the purpose of devoting herself to battle. Mere shadow of a witch, sealed away by cancer. She spends her days pulling small pranks and clearing away the anti-magic toxin for the sake of her resurrection. It has many things in common with the evil spirits of... Okay, this is an idea that actually came to mind like right now over here. Beatrice the Elder. I'm thinking that in those 6 years that Beatrice spent her time on Rokkenjima, not only did one Beatrice get born, like after Better left, but 2 Beatrice, like Baby Bato and the Elder. Baby Bato is like the first Beatrice, as it is clearly like it makes sense from the Elder and the Baby referencing right over here. But yeah, Beatrice, this Baby Bato was born for the sake of Balor, and well, look at her. She's all happy. She's waiting for her knight in shining armor to return and such. But, you know, time passes. And Balor would not come. And thus, Beatrice the Elder is born. Without the purpose of devoting herself to Balor. Because, well, time passes and the person holding these Beatrice personalities, well, she is trying to move on. They realize that Balor is not going to come back, so they move on, trying to move on. And thus, we have this Elder, Beatrice, that is stuck on the island and does her own thing. And she doesn't have the purpose of devoting herself to Balor because, well, she no longer has Balor in mind. She tries to move on. And, well, there's that. The thing is, though, this is definitely something that I have to think about Baby Battle and the conclusion that she came to before coming to the wedding and saving Balor. It was said that in order for Battle, full-blown Battle, to be reborn, both the Elder and Baby Battle have to be one and the same, like combined and such. We didn't really get to see like Beatrice the Elder after this. We didn't really get to see what happened to Beatrice the Elder and, you know, so that is, again, something that I might need to think about in my spare time. Fell from the pleasure boat Eternal Maid 2, mid-cruise in the waters near Rokkenjima. She washed up on Rokkenjima on October 4th, 1986. The Ushirimiya family welcomed her as a guest. She managed to drift to the island unharmed thanks to several miracles, including the life jacket she was weaving. Fell from a pleasure boat and currently missing. Due to the Rokkenjima explosion accident that occurred shortly... her own accent with the Rokkenjima okay. 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 I'm looking at some interesting words over here. Huh. Could well be that what I was thinking of may end up being the case. Rokkenjima explosion. The one that I was thinking of the mansion just exploding and all that. Accident that occurred shortly after. Her own accident was lost to history. Her family argues that she might have drifted to Rokkenjima and gotten involved in the accident, but no evidence indicating her presence on the island has been found at the scene. Foragers who learn of her fall from the boat often theorize that she drifted onto Rokkenjima and added her into the witch illusion. You know, I have been thinking of some ideas before for Erika when it comes to possibly her involvement in all this. Because, again, when you look at Erika, you don't really see that much of a connection to the Rokkenjima incident. I mean, as I said before, clearly we don't hear any peep of her in the first 4 games. And from the 5th game onwards, we have her introduced to our cast and such. I do wonder if she does have some connection to the family. More specifically to Bella. Like, that is something that I have to think about myself. Like, maybe she has some connection to Bella in the 6 years that he spent away from the family. I do have to wonder. But, okay, there's also this about her falling off the pleasure boat and currently missing. Like, I surely did not pay that much attention to this particular thing that happened. One would look at this as just a means for her to be introduced to the story and not think much of it, but it could very well be the case that, in reality, this sort of thing happened while the storm actually occurred in those days. That it's not just a plot device for Erika to be introduced. That this sort of event did happen while the Rokkenjima family conference happened and such. Yeah, it kind of makes me question. I think that this is something that they're gonna have to think about. With that being said, what about the witch side? The Witch of Truth. She's also a detective and calls herself an intellectual rapist. Participates in Bella's game as the human side player. She possesses numerous skills that qualify her to call herself a detective, and this can even be elevated to the level of truth, with her truth when enlarged by her master, Dekasta. Whether she wins or loses, this will be the last game. And there will be no further use of her. Ugh. You're gonna have to do that to me, eh? Just execute her and boom, she's gone. Just like that. This is my truth that I have reached. Free your... The heck are you doing? Why aren't you following the script? Sorry. It was supposed to be cool and all. I come in, I swing my sword in the air, and you will be all, here he comes!
Like that One Piece moment between Roger and White.
I'm afraid we'll have to postpone the moment a bit more, Sally. Like, it is a really bad timing right now. I gotta focus on something else right now, and afterwards we will continue our show, I promise.
You gotta be kidding me. You're telling me I went through hell and back to get here. You said that you will show orange juice, that you believe to the core. What the hell is it this time that requires your attention?
A funeral. I will show you my orange juice there, if you are curious.